Hey guys, so this is a discussion of the current 2014 metagame. It's not really a discussion on whether about the game, but it's more like a discussion like, I'm tired of seeing the same decks, and everybody's gonna be like, well, the format's a lot different than from before, which, yeah, it is. It's a lot different, because before I'd say there would be like 3 decks. But what I'm saying is, at the last few regionals that people are pressing, which these are regionals, different from YCS, but it's usually gadgets, boojins, like a random thing will top, but it's not consistent. Like Mermails, Fire Fist, Fire Kings, those are like the consistent ones. And I think that's more of a reason because people, just like and this is why I'm getting at the meta, is that in every year when the meta gets established, people think it's like, those are the tier decks, those are the only decks that are good, so then everybody swarms to them, which is an obvious thing. You want to win YCS or something, you're going to go for it. But I feel like decks that are pretty good, but they're either older or people don't want to swarm to them just because, like, the consistency rate just isn't as good. But how do I like? There's decks that can beat that can beat the other decks. They're just a little slower, but people think just because they're a little slower, nobody plays them, so it's hard for one to get to the top of the regionals and YCSs because it's one deck going versus a bunch. Yeah, you one, and that's why sometimes one random deck will get up there because one deck did do it. But it's Yu-Gi-Oh is also, like, I'd say like at least 45 to 35% luck based too. So there's gonna be a chance that even if you're the best player ever and it is still a really good deck, you're gonna lose. So this is what I'm gonna talk about right now. These are the current lineup of decks, and ignore the bottom row. Um, these aren't in order, but I'll go in order in my head of what's the top right now. So say the top best ones that you're going to see: Mermails, Fire Fist, Gadget, Girgia, Necro Valley, Hieratic, Dragon Roller, Nonsense, Jargon, Fire Kings. These are the ones that I think are the thing. And then as MCole440 stated in his video of Meta 1.5, I would agree with him. It's like Boojins, Harpies, and I think he said Raccoons are not, but I think Raccoons would be up there because Raccoons can do some stuff. I'm greatly surprised by that information, what Raccoons can do. And who knows, they might get some sort of support. I mean, not like direct support like a Raccoon archetype support, but some type of beast, monster, spell, or trap card in the new Primal Origins. I doubt it, but hey, you never know. Sometimes you're surprised by the cards you see in there. Um, but yeah, these are the decks, and then spell books and stuff like that. Like, these are the ones that you're probably gonna see. These top 10 up here. I'm not saying all of them, and I'm not like, it's not here for arguing. Like, one probably will top more, but I'm saying these are the ones you'll probably see consistently topping, like consistently. Now, I'm stating these are some decks I feel like people should just play instead of swarming to the others. Like, make a variety. Don't go to the best, even if you have fun with it. Like, go cheaper. Try to do something else with the game so the game can change it up and it's fun for everybody. Yes, there are going to be the players that play these. I'm not saying all players should avoid them, but there should be a change. Like Medalches, I'd say tier 2, tier 3. Like, they're good. Like, Medalches are good, and they're getting even more support. I think I may be wrong, but they might. If not, they are good as they are. By the way, these decks I'm not saying are tier 2 because I'm saying these ones are like tier 1, tier 1.5. I'm not saying these are all tier 2. I don't even know what tier to put some of these in. I'm just saying these are ones that I feel like people should play and have forgotten about just because to go swarm to the best thing. But Dolces, Raccoons I already said are like 1.5. Raccoons can do some crazy stuff. Like, you can OTK and stuff like that. There's some cool little shenanigans you can do with Raccoons, and they're pretty good. They're just a little slow, but don't, just because you have to set a monster sometimes and not use Obedience Skull doesn't mean the deck is slow. I'm tired of hearing that shit. Um, Battle and Boxers are they're pretty standard. They're like a weaker version of Boojins because it's like protect the one card basically. But Battle and Boxer can do some stuff. It's pretty linear, but I mean, yeah. Noble Knights, they're super linear. I mean, you can do some other stuff, but like usually you go for the one play that everybody goes for. But I feel like more people should play this. Yes, I get it. It's an expensive deck, and maybe if all the cards got a lot cheaper, it'd be more viable for players. I think that's the only reason they're not topping. Not because I think it's the best deck in the world, but I feel like more players would pick them up if all the cards were a lot cheaper, and you'd see more Noble Knights topping, because I think it is a deck that's able to top a good amount. Like I said, but you need to have a bigger player base playing them, and right now it's just too expensive for how good they are. That's what I'm saying. Because I know there's decks that cost more, it's just they're too expensive for what they can do. Ghost Tricks, like I said, more people are probably going to be playing those, so you probably will be seeing those, so I can't really complain about that. I think Ghost Tricks are going to be played. But Black Wings, Zombies, Gladiator Beast did just top, like I said, it's more like a fluke thing. I don't think people are going to be topping left and right with them, because I don't think people are going to be playing them. But MQuill40 did say, like, it's Ward Chariot combo and the monsters, like, with the 10 keys and everything. Gladiator Beast is pretty good in this format. Six Samurai. I feel like everybody forgot about Six Samurai. And, like, I know Gateway's gone, but you don't have to recycle to make a good deck. Like, Gateway is about recycling. Yeah, I know you could special summon so many tokens from a deck, but Gateway is good, and was good, and it did make the deck, like, OP. I think Gateway at 1 wasn't bad, but the deck's got 4 searchers, okay? You can even mine some monsters, go full out. You can sync up. There's a card that nobody played, I forget what it's called. It's like a Shien's Counselor or something like that. But nobody played it because, like, people use Gateway, they recycled. But you banish 2 Six Samurai monsters from your graveyard, and its effect is it can target and destroy monsters. It's a good card. I've played in Six Samurais, and, like, nobody sees it because they're like, oh, I didn't know nobody played that. Like, I'd say look up the card. You'll probably know what I'm talking about once you see it. And it's a good card that you can put in for, like, Gateway, and it's not going to change the game like Gateway did. Like, it's not going to make your deck better, but it's like a nice little tech card that can do some popping for you and can be a 22, I think it's 23 and 200, 2200 beater. Something like that. I don't even know. But yeah, play something else. Play Glad Beast. Play Zombies. Like, something. Dark Worlds, I feel like a lot of people are still playing because they're Dark Worlds, and, I'm going to have a video coming out called 2 Turbo Dark World, as I mean 2 as in not as in too much, like 2, it's 2 turbo, it's 2 turboed. It's uses appropriate cup of ace. It's crazy. I drew out my deck so many times on accident. It's just a fun video. I'm not saying to go do it to a tournament, but that'd be kind of cool if you did at the same time if you won with it. But yeah, Dark Worlds are a very viable deck as always. I mean, there always are. And then I'd say I had Synchronons in here just because I like Synchronons, but that's pretty much all I got for that. But there's tons of other decks on here that, like, I mean, that aren't on here that you could play. Hunders, anything. They all are viable. They all can win. And then I know people can make the argument that, yeah, any deck can win. Well, I'm not saying that. I'm saying there are some decks where it's just like, yeah, that's just not going to work out. It's not going to go. But, like, there's some decks, and I think I should have Evilsaur on here because I think they're going to get new support, and they're going to be really good. What I'm trying to say is, to anybody who sees this, which, with my subscriber count, not going to be many, but share this video with your friends, please, and show them, like, change up the meta. There's other decks out there that are viable. Just because people aren't topping with it doesn't mean that they are the deck to get. Like, a thing that frustrates me that I think is some players think just because they'll get a deck, and even sometimes they'll get a top tier deck, and they don't win with it, and they think it's not good. Wrong. I've played against on DevPro, and I know DevPro is different, but I've played a lot of DevPro. I have a lot of time on my hands. I've beaten the best decks, and it's not even that they have bad hands. They've swarmed me and stuff like that. You just have to play right. You have to build the deck right. You can't be playing a bunch of tech cards and monsters. You have to play the core and a bunch of traps if you want to survive against the higher meta. Like, any deck can survive against the higher meta. Like, I think it was a few months back, Battle and Boxers topped a few times, mostly because they figured out, and now the new standard is, you only play, like, the 12 monsters or so, and then a few spells, and then a rest traps to defend it. Like, you figure out what you have to do, and I feel like some people don't understand that. You can win a lot depending on what you got going. Yeah, there's some decks that lock you down. I get it. But you can do better, you can do good without playing meta, and I don't think people understand that. The only reason the meta is called meta is because the player swarms to it thinking, since it's so fast and consistent, that that's all that can win, which is wrong. But please leave on a lighter note. Those decks are better because they're faster and consistent, but they can still, it's still a playing field. Okay, the only thing that I'll really call out at this point, I mean, now, I said the game's kind of like that. There has been points when Dragon Rollers were a thing, yeah. There's no point to even play whatever deck. You might as well play something that's going to win, because there's no chance. Back in the day, the 6 Sams when they had 3 gateways, stuff like that. Back then, I can understand, like, oh wow, why should I even play a lower tier deck? But now it's viable. Lower tier decks are now viable to go against the higher tier, because even though the higher tier is good, they're still rather slow compared to what we had going on. But that's my rant. Like I said, guys, check out other decks. Try to play. Try to change up the game for everybody. A couple people at a time. Look into other decks that nobody sees and try to make them good. We need some creativity in this game. Change it up. And yes, so that's all, guys. Like I said, share this video, like it, thumbs it up, favorite it, subscribe if you like my content, all that jazz. And I will see you later.